here we are, Monday morning, the 8th, and this is what's going to happen to a lot of people. I don't know if it's that power takeoff switch, that wire up in the air. We'll have to see what happens. Breakdowns going to happen. As I climb up in this cab, machine's cooled off. You never know what's going to happen when you stick this key in. Maybe the same thing. There you go. There you go. Unbelievable. As I said, but that's nice. Equipment, you never know. It's temperamental. As a woman. In some cases as a man too. Anyhow, you never know what's going to happen with equipment. It's heated up. And the switch starts. So we're ready to go. Nice thing about it, ain't 6:30 in the morning and we're rolling. Yeah, we're going to go back and mow that alpha rack. Hasn't been mowed and it needs to be mowed. That was nice thing about it. I got to see my grandson last night because that broke down, and by the time I got home he was just getting ready to leave. So good things happened anyway. Daybreak in the woods. Wandering back here to the alpha rack. Down the sun visor. The sun breathing right in your face. This is the first time we've been back to this alpha rack. Hadn't been mowed. Oh, that chicory in there. Got a few weeds in it, a few more than I would like, but the alfalfa still doing good. But there again, we'll get the mower mowing, get it opened up. Okay, we'll get this mowed. Sad part about it is we've got some rain supposed to come tomorrow, hopefully, because it looks like for 10 days it's going to be over 90. So, what do you do? Let's get the mowing. You can see firsthand how good that alfalfa grew in there. Now this is the Alpha Rack Plus, remember, so it's got clover, alpha rack in it. There was a deer bed right there. Very few broadleaf weeds, but the alfalfa was doing great. But it's time to get it mowed. So all that work, like I say, that alfalfa is tremendous. And over in here, it's almost as high as that stump, but it needs to be trimmed back so the new growth will be more succulent. And the clover is growing good in there also. the nice thing about having a diversified seed and a mixture of seed and the research that Whitetail Institute puts into their seed sure does help you people a lot. Not none of this phony flash name bullshit. A company that hires agronomists, scientists, weed people that are knowledgeable of the weeds, you name it. Now here's what I want to show you. Now even though this was alpha rack, the clover, Whitetail Institute clover, was a blend in there, and it took over this area. Apparently the alpha rack didn't want to, but the alfalfa didn't want to grow all that good in here, but you still had one hell of a clover crop. Now you can see the weeds that got in here. That's why I'd have liked to have mowed this earlier, but that's just the way it plays out on food plots. They're not, you can't let them control your life. But anyhow, I just wanted to go over that blend of alpha rack. You've seen the good alfalfa, which was down in that area back in there. And for some reason it really didn't do that well up here, but the clover grew in real good. So keep that in mind when you're selecting seed. I see these seed pushers all over that YouTube. All they're trying to do is play catch up. Don't waste your time and your money for that, because all they're doing is getting some seed from a co-op, putting it in a bag, running out and putting a fancy name that'll be flash. Just like sex! I seen that in the newspaper. You know what it said? Now that we got your attention, and that's all they want to do with those fancy stupid names of those so-called guru seed companies. Whitetail Institute's my money. That's why I'm going to invest it. And I'll tell you why. Even with that product, sometimes you have issues. But at least I know it's got an integrity company behind it that's there today, and it's going to be there tomorrow. Now that we've got this mowed, it's 7:35. Like I said, there's no better reward in life than the green fields here on earth that you create. Thick, lush clover, alfalfa. It's a little wet to mow with the dew, but sometimes on this situation I'll have to go, had to get it mowed, and I wanted to get this incoming rain, and that way. And there's another thing, the chicory in here really grew in good in this area. There again, it goes back to that blend. Nothing better than seeing the fruits of your labor and sharing them with you. This is not a hero status. This is not a pro staff status or a hero status. This is just one simple, non-typical American, non-Democrat also. Keep that in mind. 2020 elections not that far away, so I want to go on that bandwagon. Keep them out of the White House, or we'll be all on the employment line again. Unemployment line. So anyway, that's going to put a wrap on mowing. Nothing better than the green fields of life. Yeah, we're back in here right now mowing the trail. It's real critical to have clear trails mowed if you own the land. I mean, that way you got access to get in and out of your timber without disturbing the deer. You want to be able to traverse down through these walking trails at nighttime, and if you've got them cleared out now, hunting season just around the corner. Now once I mow these, they're not going to grow back up because there's no sunlight that gets in here. And the deer will be used to, they've already used them over the period. You can see the deer trail right there. But getting these mowed right now in advance is a real plus, because like I said, trying to get in and out of your woods gives you several different directions, and you can see that real defined deer trail right there. So when you get these trails cut in here, the deer will pick up on them and start using them as corridors. That's one young man asked me, how do you hunt corridors? Well, if you've got the access, you can create them. If you don't, nature makes them. But like I said, I'm just following a well-used deer trail right here. And that gives me passage to get in and out in the morning, and especially in the evening. If you're hunting a food plot, that way you can go back through the woods that the deer came out. They're out in front of you in the food plot. Yeah, and it's still plenty wet down here in the woods. Okay, with that canopy, it don't dry out. I'll get in here and get these trails, access trails mowed right now, because they won't go back in this year. But it's still plenty muddy down there. That's what a watershed's all about. Holds water or moisture. Yeah, it just goes to show you how much moisture shade can hold. See that? That's mud. Down here, completely canopied over, and it's still wet down in here. And you've seen the rest of, like the up top and stuff, is really dried out. But we're right down in the bowels of the timber, mowing these access trails. And it gives you, if you want to go for a walk in the fall, you know. But it is definitely wet in here, and that's what I said. That's the definition of a watershed. It holds moisture, holds the runoff, doesn't dry out. And you can see that well-used deer trail running up through there. But this lets you, the main purpose of doing this is if I'm hunting up on top and there's deer out on the food plot areas, they came from here and traversed out to the food plot at evening, and that way you got to have access if you're going to hunt food plots. Be able to get in and out undetected. And I don't understand how some of these people, they put these fiberglass kibbles out on a food plot out in the middle, right out in the middle of the plot. And how do they hunt that? They go in, they got to get out. They get out, do that a couple times, game over. Because they have no alternative way. Don't hunt right on the food plot. Only in the last few days of the season, because you don't have anything to lose at that time. But if you start doing that at day one, you're just putting odds against yourself, because you're going to get busted, and that fiberglass stand is going to become useless. Definitely don't want to shut a machine off down in when you're this deep in the bowels of the timber. It'd be a heck of a time trying to get it out, and if it's running, keep it running. Believe how muddy that is right there. Bone dry up on top. I'll show you something I just noticed on this power takeoff switch. I don't know if you can see that spark in there. That ain't cool. That's what caused that not to start. Must be shorting out on that. I'll stiff stuff there so that rod don't touch that. Okay, you can see the arc in there. Oh well, always something. Alright, apparently when I got these wires to the switch, this is for the PTO lever, and somehow you see that switch or that wire was laying on that. Anyhow, I got it started, but as you've seen, it was shorting out on that. Got those wires away from there now. Apparently, this switch right here won't let you start it if the PTO's on. And you've seen that sparking inside there. So that wire must have been laying on there. I'm going to have to tape it up. Anyhow, that switch is in the off. PTO's in the off position right now. So we can start it. Starts right up. Now, if we move the switch, if we move this lever forward, it's not going to start. Won't start. It's just the power comes on. That's what it was doing yesterday. And apparently now, all I have to do is move this lever back and hit the switch. Starts right up. But that wire must have been arcing on this lever, as you could see. Now I don't have that sparking. So it was in that wire down there that was arcing. Now I can move that back and forth, and there are no sparks. Before there was sparks jumping. So I think we found out what the culprit was. That wire under there, we'll get it in there and get it taped up. Breakdowns. Everybody's going to have them. It's just nature of the beast. Especially when you leave your machines in the field and the mice can get in there no matter what you try to do. They gnaw on wires. The guy told me the reason they gnawed on the wires because it had oil in them and soy oil, and they'd get in there and gnaw on them, get the nutrition out of the oil. Whatever. Well, at least we found the culprit. Well, here it is, right at 8 o'clock. We got the alpha rack mode, we got the trails opened up, a little muddy in that timber. Food plotting is 365. Nothing simple about it. So, that's it from the non-typical on Monday morning, the 8th day of July. Let's go to work now.